I see dead people.
Hot shit.
Here's Johnny.
Stop.
We have such sights to show you.
Bring the motherfucking ruckus. Fuck you too.
Yeah. Let's, yeah.
Check one, check two.
Yeah, it's fine. That means it's working. If it looks like that, it means it's working. I'm your host, Chuck Greenwald. And this is working. That's how we open up. What do you have to say?
One thing I did want to open with was that for continued therapy administered to me by me, I have learned to be or not to be. That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous misfortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing, end them.
I only know so much. You're already past the point.
I start
right?
reciting it at work to myself, and I've had an email from HR actually.
They think you're gonna poison everyone.
Somebody who knows Shakespeare said I was going to commit suicide.
Very cool.
They understood the Shakespeare that I was saying.
Yeah, they didn't need the Shakespeare for idiots to lead them to that conclusion.
Exactly. I was impressed that somebody knew it.
Yeah. I know it because when it was one of the first things I performed, I think when I was 12. Civic Theater had a acting program to help kids do classes and to get up in front of other people and to do hard monologues. And
oh yeah,
I was given a lot of Shakespeare. I mean, I love Shakespeare, so it's almost like I asked for it. But that's why, like, going into high school, like when we got into Hamlet, when we got into Macbeth, I was fucking there for it, man. I even went into college and I took a Shakespeare class in college just to really dive into the man and all the shit that was going on in his life. So it's really crazy bottle of work. Lots of respect.
Yeah.
Lots of respect there. And for his ghostwriter.
I'm a fan of King Lear because I remember watching on YouTube James Earl Jones as Lear. I think it was a Shakespeare in the Park performance. It's live. It's all on YouTube. It's amazing. It's a longer one, but also about descent into madness. And, he has a famous monologue out in this stormy weather, and he's like shouting to the heavens, and he's gone insane pretty much.
Yeah.
Shakespeare's good. I'm hoping it doesn't get bastardized by AI. I haven't seen anything.
A lot of things have been. I think it's hard for Shakespeare to be bastardized by AI. Man.
Yeah.
To start off with fucking Shakespeare is to take it to depths we have not yet seen.
When he himself might his quietus make with a bare bodkin.
A bare bodkin? Yeah, I always loved that line. God damn, I gotta move this.
He's talking about stabbing himself.
He is. Yeah, he is. Or, stabbing someone else.
It is a courageous thing to keep going.
It is to continue forward. It is
to suffer,
a noble thing.
To suffer the slings and arrows. It is brave, it is courageous.
It is tough. It is tough to put one foot in front of the other when everything that surrounds you is ass.
I genuinely, lately, I genuinely have had trouble connecting with people in a positive connotation. Because we may be lamenting the state of affairs we find ourselves in. And I kind of just like am, I shake my head up and down and I go, yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, crazy.
I had a phone
Crazy.
call catch up with a coworker today.
Yeah.
And I was like looking forward to it, and I feel bad. 5 minutes in, he and I both being similar. 5 minutes in, we both were just like at a loss for words because without needing to say anything, we just kind of were like, yeah, things are crazy. But like, we're saying it like, yeah, no, like actually, it is actually crazy.
It is actually crazy.
Yeah, not just busy. It's like, yeah.
It is insane. It is insanity. There is a measured insanity in the world we currently exist in, and it is reached heinous levels of misunderstanding to the point where I think it's a fucking joke at this point.
Yeah.
It is a fucking joke because there's only so many ways this could end, and almost none of them are positive.
Yeah.
There's almost no... I would be thrilled if we could figure out a good way out of whatever situation we're currently looking at. I don't see it. I don't think it exists.
No.
So I'm just waiting for the moment that, XYZ grenade is pulled. I don't know. I don't know in what direction that's going to happen. So it's tough. It's tough. Having to wake up, having to shower and go to work, and having to pay bills and pay your taxes and do all your shit. It is a fucking chore.
I am going to break out the bear bodkin.
Yes, I do. I hope so. I hope so. You know how I've been getting through it? I've been watching a lot of One Piece.
Oh, wait. I'm on like episode 700 something.
I'm on 486.
Yeah.
I'm Marine 4.
Have you gotten to the War of the Best? Yeah, Marine 4.
I'm Marine 4 right now.
Oh, wow.
Ace is about to fucking bite it.
And Ivanka Trump is in it.
Who's Ivanka Trump?
Or what's her name? What's his name? Oh no.
Ivankov?
Ivankov, yeah.
That's just meant to be Tim Curry from Rocky Horror.
That's right.
I can't help but love Ivankov.
What's the catchphrase that Ivankov has?
Hee-haw?
Death wink! Oh, and hee-haw.
Well, hee-haw is his laugh, you're right. But Galaxy wink, 100%.
Yeah. No, I like
big fan.
One Piece.
That's how I disconnect. I get to live in a fantasy crafted by Japanese people to promote the downtrodden, the complete cataclysm of their own government. That's how I get to live vicariously.
The world government.
The world government. Now, when they start hitting people and kids, that's when I'm going to turn it off.
I didn't get to that episode yet.
Oh, shit. I might have to cut that. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's alright. That's a touch too far. But
well, if you didn't hear what I think I was just said because it was cut, I will say that, I love our country.
I was going to say, let me just grab the segue right and just give us a hard left real quick.
Yeah.
Do you know why we're here? Do you know what we're doing? Do you know this? Do you know the story that you picked? Do you know the reason? The reason for today?
It's no, not unique. It is like strange.
It is strange. No, the title is fucked. The title is weird, and I haven't told you the title yet. The word was unusual.
Yes.
The word was unusual. I asked which word... Oh, yeah, by the way, this is Lots of Pasta. I'm recording with Tenron Otrin here, episode 311. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Segue right into the fucking topic. Because it's been a while since you have recorded, we had you for the 300th, but we haven't wrote a story since Gas Station.
Yeah.
I felt like just kind of letting you literally just walk out into the darkness and see what we find on your episode. So I asked you, out of these, I think it was 4 or 5 words, which word stands out to you for what reason? And you picked the word unusual. Now, it felt a little bit like a trick picking that word in this sentence. Because under the context of the word, it really just means weird. In the context of the title of the story, you're going to understand what that unusual is a little bit better. And it's not just weird.
It's not uncanny.
I don't think it's supposed to be uncanny. I think it's supposed to be a very specific type of genre.
Grotesque?
No.
Okay.
No, we'll get into it. That's what I'm saying. You don't have any expectations for what we're doing.
Nope.
I think that's fair because it's gonna be a fucking wild card of an episode. Naturally, I don't read these stories. I don't vet these stories. But I read the title and I try to jump to a conclusion just by looking at the title and say, so that's what that's going to be about. And I'm pretty sure I told you my code name title for this episode is Assassin for Ghosts. So, Assassin for Ghosts, I'll explain it when we read the title. I'm going to mask it for a second. The people who've read the description or the details of this episode are already going to know what the title of the story is. I'll probably type something up in there. But where we're at right now, I haven't yet given Tenron Otrin the title of the story. The reason I call it Assassin for Ghosts is because I think it's going to have something to do with someone being a medium of sorts. Being able to hear things that they're not supposed to.
Oh, that's so... I had just pointed out the Insidious Funko Pop.
You had. You had.
Wow.
It is a very similar type of vibe, but I'm also getting a big flex on the theoretical term of unfinished business.
Oh.
Now, contextually, I want to say unfinished business is the reason ghosts exist. Right? It's their negative energy that is lingering in our earthly plane because they are attached to someone or something in a negative light that has not been concluded while they were alive, hence them coming back and being stuck in that like emotive state in their expression of whatever emotion it is. Depression, anger, rage, horniness. Love, yeah, unrequited or dirty.
I will haunt. I know it.
That dirty love. So, context, unfinished business. Now, mix that with what I just said, Assassin for Ghosts, and now doesn't that fill you with a little bit of intrigue, a little bit of mystery? What would a ghost have to tell you to be like, kill this person for me? That you would be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna kill someone for a ghost.
I think immediately of the burning bush that Moses comes upon.
Nice.
In the book of Genesis.
Yeah, we're going biblical with it.
God is like. Sorry,
hey, by the way,
I forget if it's God directly or if it's his angel that's talking.
No,
to
that thing's the voice of God.
Yeah,
I think it's the voice of God.
Yeah,
if I
and
remember
Moses
correctly.
goes blind, or something like that. So anyway, I'm sorry. I always bring up the Bible.
You're just a good little Christian boy.
I'm sorry.
What can I? I'm sorry. Oh shit! All right. He's communing with nature now. He's coming here. There, I'll give you a cap.
I am many people's all
in
bashed
one.
into one.
All in one. Don't I know it? Here's the title of the story. Here's the title of the story, just to give you some. We're gonna go off of this. The title is, I have an unusual job.
Okay.
The pay is good, but I really hate the moaning sounds that go with it.
Okay. Wow. That could mean so many things.
I think it betrays.
Is he a cam op?
I think it betrays a certain trust. I want to say Assassin for Ghosts has a 50% shot of being completely off the mark, but I like the concept. of someone who would kill people as unfinished business for ghosts.
Yeah.
If that has nothing to do with what we're about to read, I'll still probably like it, but I'm going to be a little disappointed mentally.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you read that title. What do you think? Cam up? OnlyFans?
Well, I think I have an unusual job. The pay is good, but I really hate the moaning sounds that go with it. That go with the pay?
That go with the job.
The pay is good.
The pay is good.
How is it... In what capacity is a ghost wiring over funds? Well...
Maybe they're telling you where you can find things that are worth value in order to get a favor out of you.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing. If we're going by Stephen King logic, this is why I want to dive into it, because if we're going by Stephen King logic, if the ghost knows you can hear it, they're not going to leave you alone, and you will go insane listening to them, because once they're aware that you can hear them, they are going to fucking assault you every single minute of every single day to say, hey, I'm still here, you need to do this thing.
Yeah.
Or, holy shit, I'm dead. I'm going to stand here and scream in your face for 5 minutes today, because that's just where I'm at mentally as a ghost. Stuck in that final scream.
Yeah.
That's the different shades of ghost with Stephen King. Because on one hand, that's Pet Sematary. I'm a ghost, I'm here to tell you something bad's going to happen. Omen. And then bails. And then we have The Shining, which is, I'm going to kill you. And I'm screaming in your face about how I'm gonna kill you. And I might be horny while I'm doing it. So that's what I'm saying. Are we gonna get into some kind of visceral, negative, ghostly place? Or am I totally just fucking off base?
No, I think you're accurate in what this story is going to be about.
Ghosts?
Yes, ghosts.
I hope so. I love ghosts, man.
And
We've had discussions about ghosts before.
it's gonna have like a professional tone, I think.
Because of the job?
Yep.
Because it being someone's livelihood?
Yep. You know what I'm also thinking about with this story?
Tell me.
But that the dread of something after death. The undiscovered country, from whose bourne no traveller returns, puzzles the will, and makes us rather bear those ills we have, than fly to others we know not of.
What are you quoting now?
That's part of the to be or not to be.
That's part of the to be or not to be?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's towards the end, after he's kind of...
That sounded so fucking different. That sounded like it could have been from a completely different body of work.
Yeah. He's talking about what keeps us here? Why do we even want to... Who wants to even keep going? Who wants to keep suffering through this? And at the end of the day, it's that the angst, the existential angst of we do not know what happens after, and we have to respect that. And we do respect that innately. And now with ghosts...
It's a touch. It's a touch. It's a touch to the other side. It's a
Hamlet
mirror. It's a mirror.
I mean, his dad appears to him as a ghost too.
It does. Yes, it does. Yeah.
What my God, I think this is gonna be about ghosts.
Ghosts. I'd love for that. I'd love for that to be the case, because I think ghosts can. So we've had this discussion before, because I've listened to several of our other episodes. When I was still living in Whitehall, I mentioned having a ghost that lived up on the 3rd floor of the house.
Yes.
And we would hear things at various times in the middle of the night from all around the house, and I didn't have animals. I didn't have anything there. I was alone.
Yep.
I was alone in this huge house. So whenever you heard something weird, like there was a day where you and I were in the middle of doing something and we legitimately heard the front door open and close.
Yeah.
And I ran up and I walked around and the door was locked. No one had come in. No one had done anything, and for the life of me, I will never be able to explain to you what it is we heard right then and there.
I was the one, I think, that was like, did you hear something?
Oh, I 100% heard
Yeah.
it. There was a time where we were sitting and recording in the big living room, and we looked over at the bathroom, and I swear you and I both said, "What was that?" at the same time. At the same time, like on the podcast. And I had to like stop and be like, "Guys, you aren't going to believe this, but we both just think we saw something. I'm going to go take a look at it." And you're like, "What?" You're like, "No, why would you do that?" I'm like, "Because I got to know. I got to know if there's something there. I'm not going to be able to think of anything else until I go and look at the thing and can relax again."
Yeah.
Because now I'm up here. And so you hear me get up from the couch and walk across the room. And I keep talking as I'm doing it so you can hear me get further away. And you're sitting here on the couch and you're just like, "He left me. He's going into the other room now. And I don't know if he's going to come back."
Undiscovered country!
No, it's just so what I was getting at is I do believe in an afterlife. I do believe in a ghostly realm. I don't know if I believe in it as like a tangible thing though. I feel like it's more of an energy thing.
Yeah.
And less of a...
By tangible, do you mean like hauntings?
What I want to say is I believe in the movie, without all the touching, the movie Presence, which is very, I'm just here and I'm watching you.
I've never seen it.
Relatively new. Still very good. And then there's like Poltergeist. Like, I'm horny, I appear to you as a visage of a person, and we're gonna make pottery together.
Yeah.
You know, as I'm much more like, you can't see me, there's something here, I can feel it, versus personifying it.
Yeah.
Putting a face to it. I'm not saying that you can't figure those two things out or see what you want to see, because I also think that's an element of it. Like, when people say that they've seen things, I also think it's their brain making them draw conclusions for things that weren't actually there. So, you know, you trick yourself a little bit into believing that was the thing. Dude, I have had this conversation on this show so many fucking times, I don't want to, like, just dive back into it all at once, but, like, I went on a paranormal investigation once. Like, I sat there and I did the things and I went all around this haunted ass place and I had them, like, give me their tech and I had my own little investigation with it and I went around and I fucking interacted with something.
Yeah.
It picked up on 3 different tests that I cannot quantify. Mm-hmm. And every time I asked it to do it again, it fucking did. I can't explain it. The rationale I will tell you is a pen light put on a table, and there's nothing else on the table, and I'm allowed to disassemble the pen light, check everything that's in there, reload the batteries myself, and then actually press on it with my own thumb and hear an audible click for me to know that it is now on. And then for me to put it down on the table, take 5 steps back, behind a light strip that goes off whenever anything is around, and watch that pen light turn itself on every time I try talking to something in the room.
Yeah.
I can't explain it. I can't explain it. I had a fucking conversation with something.
Mm-hmm.
I can't fucking explain it. And it was always like a bright glow that dimmed really slowly, like something was being lit up off of the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
We had illuminating cat toys that have to be smacked in order to turn on in different corners of the room. Those were going off. Light strip on the floor was going off. Like, you can write a lot of these things off as, like, maybe it was manipulated, maybe there's something else going on, maybe there's something else in the house that could have had an effect on these objects. But I'm telling you, I looked at these things myself. I'm not a fucking idiot. I know how things work. I know how you can send signals, and I know that different signals can be programmed. I know.
Yeah.
I know there are triggers. I could press a button on a laptop and it will light something across the room up. I know how that sounds. This place was too fucking old for any of that to exist in there. It was like a 200-year-old building with a fucking catacombs underneath. Like, it is a historical site. You know, it's just... Oh, man. I believe in something. Agnosticism towards ghosts. I believe in something. I believe there's an energy. I believe there's a realm. I believe there's an overlap. If there's a Venn diagram, it exists. I believe in that. But I can't go deeper than that, and I can't let off the gas.
Yeah.
The same way. How do you feel about ghosts?
I've never had an experience, and I've almost wished this. You know, aside from creepy moments, creepy moments in my life, nothing very conclusive. Nothing is trying to test anything. Nothing like an experience that you've had. Nothing abnormal or extremely strange. That's repeated itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like hearing things is, even if it's like just I distinctly hear something, that's happened. But again, nothing that's like, well, to use the word that you had,
visual evidence, something example.
Yeah, personified almost like
personified.
the whatever event of. Something unusual that's taken place. It doesn't seem like there's some being behind it or some knowledge or presence behind it. It just it happens. It's weird.
Have you ever been in a place with a lot of history and feel yourself kind of disconnect?
And that's
displace yourself a little bit to be open to feeling something else going on.
That's the other part.
Sense of deja vu.
Is I've never been in that kind of context before. I
select places have made me feel that way.
Sure. Yeah.
First time I went to Gettysburg, felt really fucking weird.
Sure.
Walking around the battlefields felt very fucking weird. Being somewhere where a lot of people died.
Yeah.
Williamsburg, Virginia, could say the same thing about that. Where else? The East Penitentiary, the asylum. That's just caked into the walls, the shit that happened there.
Yeah. I'd kind of want to visit like Roanoke, where
that'd be wild.
The disappearance
That'd be wild.
had taken place, allegedly.
Fuck yeah.
I mean...
So this is a place, the place I went to is in Lancaster. It's about 2.5 hours away. It was an old house. It was just a house, but it got turned into a hotel later on when the family either half died or left. And they renovated it into a restaurant, and what was his personal catacombs for his family and his casks of alcohol have been also renovated into a restaurant. So you could go down like 60 feet below water level into this place where people have actually died.
Yeah.
And fucking have dinner there. And of course I had my fucking 3rd year anniversary there with my girlfriend. So, afterwards we met up with these people who have an agreement with the place to let them come in and do studies. And you can be a part of the study that night if you want to hear what they have to say and be open to doing things. And it was like a 3-hour thing, and we spent a different hour in a different place. And the night got continuously weirder from 11 to 3 a.m. the further we got down into that house. And by the time we got into the catacombs and stuff actually started like happening, I was like, by the end of the night, I was like, yeah, I now think I like believe in stuff because of this experience. And like, it was the type of thing where like I was left alone for long stretches of time, just to kind of observe what was going on and come to my own conclusions and be able to use the stuff that they had. And it's just like, I don't know, man. I can't say I've ever felt it, in my own house. Like, we joke about that house in Whitehall. Like, we joke about Granny living up on the 3rd floor. I don't think anything was going on there. I just think legitimately that house had, like, an infestation. There was something in the walls at that house.
Yeah.
And so, I'm practical. I'm still looking for the real world explanation for these things. But what I want to ask you is, have you ever had a day where the coincidences don't stack up and the deja vu is fucking heavy? And you're just starting to think something else is going on here.
No. Never have.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Because I've had days where I've said something and then, like, 3 hours later someone else says the same thing and I'm just like, why did that happen? That could not have been in the zeitgeist of both people in completely different areas of life at that same exact time. Like, and it's not even like something specific. It's like an entire swath of a conversation has just repeated, like the Matrix is broken.
Yeah.
For a moment there. And just weird, little weird things. Just little weird coincidences. And I just can't help but be like, I think reality is just broken sometimes, and I think there's weird ways it expresses itself, and I think the spiritual realm is fucking one of those ways. Interestingly enough.
I think I did have something happen to me when, like you were saying, conversation here, conversation there.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting breakfast one morning at I forget, like a diner, and then I later on stopped at a gas station, and it was the same exact thing. This really short guy said the same exact thing. He was like, "Shut your mouth, you're not God or my father or my boss." Dude, do you want to step outside? I hope you know what that is from.
I don't. Tell me.
Really short guy at a bagel shop.
Oh shit! No, I do know who that is. Yeah.
The girls on dating apps with the biting lip.
The fucking angry, the short angry.
Shut your mouth! You're not God or my father or my boss.
Oh my boss! I'll beat your ass. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking.
I haven't had an experience. Maybe the Bible protects me and I don't even realize it.
Oh man, I wish.
But nowadays the Talmud protects me.
Oh, very good.
So
very good.
Sorry, we're back.
Anime.
We had to cut the.
Anime protects.
We had to cut the podcast.
Oh shit. Anyway, do you want to start?
Yeah.
You want to be the one who dives in on this?
Yeah. The title: I have an unusual job. The pay is good, but I really hate the moaning sounds that go with it. So, I croaked, ignoring her wince at my raspy voice. You're worried that your dead husband is haunting you when you fuck other men? I inhaled a long drag of the cigarette, then took care to blow the smoke just far enough from her face to avoid being rude. She didn't flinch, which meant she thought I had a lot to offer. Pretty little thing she was, nearly 30 years old, though I'd estimate that the age of her modified chest to be about 3. Her good looks stemmed mainly from the fact that she'd clearly avoided a lifetime of hard work. I probably would have been equally attracted 25 years ago had my twin passions been vanity and stupidity. This gal was taken care of. Her expression glazed for just a moment. I noticed. No, she offered timidly. It's nothing like that. She looked up at me with wide eyes that had been conditioned to elicit sympathy. I noticed. It's just... She bit her lip. It's just that Raymond's been gone a month. But I don't think that he's gone, you know? I want to know if I should put him behind me or... She shed a tear. It started out small. His favorite sweater would be hanging in the closet, but the next morning it was lying on the bedroom floor. Not a big deal, you know? She looked around conspiratorially. despite the fact that no one was in the brightly lit sun porch besides the two of us. As if sensing my thought, Sophocles rubbed up against my skirt. I reached down and scratched his ear without turning away from my client. She stared right back at me, looking over the swirling vapor dancing from the teapot's spout. "But then," she breathed, flushing slightly pink, "I would be, in an intimate moment." "Masturbating or fucking?" I asked bluntly.
Hell yeah.
Her pink face quickly turned crimson. The first one. I'd hear a sudden banging on my bedroom door. It would go away whenever I stopped.
Hell yeah.
What I was doing. What makes you think it's your dead husband? I pressed her, crushing my cigarette and lighting a new one. She gazed down at the table. He would always interrupt me, even if it wasn't about anything naughty. She looked up at me in desperation. It just feels like him. Does that make any sense? She bit her lip again. I noticed. The hell? Why? You gotta read this. It's like, I noticed. This is the third time. She bit her lip again.
He's a very observant individual.
Is the narrator a he or she, though?
We'll figure it out.
But the worst thing was last night. That's what made me decide that it was time to talk with a professional. God, her little pauses and cute blushing were irritating. I really wanted to slap her.
Hell yeah.
Explain, I ordered cavalierly, before taking in that first drag.
I smoke cigarettes, I'm cool.
Yeah, remember when I said this was gonna have a professional kind of tone?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, this is...
Hell yeah. You fucking idiot.
A long pull of the cigarette really makes people like her worth it. What was her name? Cindy? She seemed like a Cindy, but the Cindys of the world always scatter from my mind just a few seconds during that first sensual puff. In those moments, I feel so capable. Last night, I coughed. Reality set back in. Listen, Cindy, it's Anne Samantha.
And Samantha.
You must have jilled off thousands of times in your life. I'm sorry, jilled?
Jill.
Well, are you a jack from the waist down?
Oh, nice.
She said, she laid a dainty little hand right on her mouth. Oh, my, no, I'm all Jill, I suppose. I grunted. So what's so different about jilling off now? Her eyes got wide again, but I had learned long ago to suppress the slap urge. When I'm alone in bed, I hear breathing, only when I'm alone. It's unmistakable. Well, how hard are you working? I asked pointedly. She dropped the hand from her face. The breathing is coming from the other side of the room. I gave her an unblinking, fixed stare. She returned it. I finally turned away when a lump of ash fell from my cigarette onto the table. Here, I offered, pouring a cup of tea from the pot. I rested my hand on the painted grapefruit and lavender design to hold it steady. Drink this. She took it obediently, blew on it, then took a sip and winced. Too hot? I asked sharply.
I do think it might be a woman.
Yeah,
at least a little bit, but I want to continue reading it in this voice, even if it is a woman.
Yeah. Yeah, I will.
Too hot?
We will, yeah. Too hot? I asked sharply. Too bitter. She responded coolly.
Shut up, bitch.
Too bad, I finished.
Too bad.
Drink the whole cup if you want to see what's on the other side.
Oh, shit.
She sipped as I spoke.
She fucking dosed her. Hell yeah.
You've told me that Raymond's been gone a month. You're brokenhearted, but you can't move on if he's still here. The shock was terrible, wasn't it? A hit and run while he was crossing the street right in front of your own home. The worst moments of your life were sprinting through the house knowing what was outside before you saw it. The hope was the worst because you knew that your husband's broken body would be lying in the street. But the smallest part of you hoped that it wasn't true. And that hope made it hurt so much more. You found him in a gory heap just beyond your front yard, and the future you'd imagined drained away like blood through your fingers. It was in that exact moment, kneeling in the middle of the street at 7:13 p.m., that you realized your life had been permanently changed to a different path of someone else's choosing. I took an aggressive pull of the cigarette and pressed forward. The sun set while you held his already cooling hand, and you realized that this would be the first sunset you'd spend knowing he was dead, and that you would end every day with this thought on your mind from now on. She blanched. I never told you that it was at sunset. I never even said it was a car accident. I narrowed my eyes at her. The guilt was more than you expected, because part of you had actually cared about Raymond. Yes, he was old and boring, my God. You would never let him forget it. But he'd felt just so fucking fragile when you crushed his spine with the car that the anger didn't seem to make sense in the moment. I blew smoke through my nostrils. He knew it was you, Cindy. You pulled the car into the driveway and rinsed off the blood so fast that no one even thought to check it for evidence. But he knew. And as he lay dying, unable to speak through shattered lungs, he stared at you without hate, malice, or vengeance. It was simple confusion, Cindy. Raymond never considered that you did it for the cash. His dying thought was wondering how he'd somehow been a bad husband, and he felt guilty for not knowing why. Her eyes were shimmering with tears that I believed were genuine, but I didn't give a shit. Her cup of tea was empty. I was so careful, she whispered in a pitch that was just below the only dogs can hear it threshold. I rolled my eyes. No, you weren't, sweetie. People are just stupid. And that's the only reason you've gotten away with everything so far. Really, putting $619,138 cash in a briefcase is just asking for trouble. Her jaw hung in shock. How could you possibly have known? I blew one last long stream of smoke from the cigarette. If I were in your shoes, sweetie, I'd be much more worried about how much poisonous oleander you just had with your tea. She slammed her hands on the table and grabbed the edges so hard that the empty cup rattled in the saucer. What did you do to me? I pulled the cigarette butt from my lips and quashed it in her empty cup. Make peace with whatever god or devils await your heart, I answered flatly. Then I turned to look across the sun porch at the ghost only I could see.
Assassin for ghosts.
Raymond was a disgusting mess. His shattered spine had no hope of holding his torso rigid, so every limp limb flopped at unholy angles. A fountain of black blood oozed from his white lips and nose. His intestines protruded from his stomach like ground beef squeezed between grimy fingers, and the coils hung to the ground like sausage links. He stared at his young widow, or, I should say, the one eye that hadn't popped to jelly was staring. I really think that Cindy would have been unnerved if she'd known he was there. Instead, she focused on me. How long? When will it start? She asked in utter petrification. In just a second, sweetie, I quipped casually, lighting up another cigarette.
Yes.
Raymond grunted. He wasn't much for talking, what with the lolling tongue dangling impotently where his missing jaw should have been. Oh, and one last thing, sugar. I leaned forward and gently rested my palms on the tabletop. Raymond wants to let you know that dying really, really fucking hurts. She froze. Behind her, despite lacking a mouth, I could swear that Raymond was smiling. The convulsing started then, but it didn't stop for a long time. Do you have any idea how far mouth foam can spray when a dying woman just won't stop thrashing? I almost felt bad for her when I realized how hard she was trying to cry. That's a really fucking difficult task, though, when your throat is closing up. That's when Raymond sauntered over to her jittering body, knelt down and gently grazed his dead fingertips across her cheek. He looked passionately into her eyes, and for just a moment I think she looked back. And then she was gone. The ghost corpse took in the sight for a few moments before I interrupted him with a forced clearing of my throat. He glanced up at me with his lone functioning eye. It was damp. I do appreciate your clear instructions on how to locate the briefcase. If everything is as promised, the bill will be settled. He grunted and waved his limp, floppy arm at the body of his dead wife. Her? I'll leave her in the backyard of your house. I snuck an oleander plant into the garden during one of my nightly visits. They're not uncommon here in Alabama, and they will explain her accidental death nicely. I wrinkled my nose, and I have to say, I'll be grateful to stop sneaking into your house each night to spook this murderous little witch. Her masturbatory moans made me gag, and I hate crawling through windows. I'm not 50 anymore, you know. I took in a deep breath of nicotine-laced air. It's not the nicotine that makes the smell, it's the burnt tobacco.
Yeah. No, it's the leaf.
Yeah.
Nicotine is odorless.
Yeah.
Child. I pointed at the iPad and said child, just so that everyone is aware. No sleep. What are you going to do?
I took in a deep breath of nicotine-laced air. He grunted again, dangling his unresponsive arm above the dead woman once more. I asked, in a genuine curiosity as I approached the corpse. There's something more? He shook more eagerly, spraying a fine mist of ghost blood onto the woman's purple face. Oh my, I whispered. I bent...
Or was that George Takei?
George Takei. Oh my. I whispered. I bent down and pried a ring from the woman's rubbery hand. There must be 24 diamonds on this. I sang. Then I slipped it onto my middle finger. It fit perfectly. Yes. Thank you very much. I do accept tips for a job well done, you gentleman, you. This time I know Raymond was smiling, and I was too. My name is Patricia Barnes, and I'm a hitman for ghosts that only I can see.
Patricia Barnes, at your service.
God, that cigarette hit good.
Hey, it's me, Patricia. Call me Patty.
Call me Patty.
You can call me Patty Cakes.
They call me...
Because I'll bake your man.
They call me Smoking Pat in middle school.
They call me Patty Sticks. I'm Patricia Barnes, hitman for ghosts that only I can see. This was the case that really got me. I flopped the woman's dead body unceremoniously onto the ground and lit a cigarette to catch my breath. It's the sixth one in the last 5 minutes. Well, Cindy, I muttered through a delightful stream of smoke.
Dude,
I hope
Well, Cindy, it's time you got a element.
Well, Cindy, I hope those aftermarket titties were worth it. Because they did not make carrying you any easier. Cindy, or was it Madison? I don't keep close track of these things. I simply stared out into the cobalt blue sky in silent repose. It was Anne Samantha. How can you forget that it was Anne Samantha?
Not even like Samantha Ann.
Anne Samantha. No, it's Anne Samantha. If she'd had anything to say, the dried foam on her lips would have been gurgling by now. I plopped myself down on an outdoor chair and took in the surroundings. Madison's backyard was a destination unto itself. Dogwood flowers mingled freely with magnolias, and stately oak trees flanked the edges of a yard dotted with willows. I breathed in the moment while the cicadas sang at full force. Truly one of the finest yards in Alabama, Madison, I offered, glancing in contempt at the tongue lolling out of her mouth. I've laid you to rest right next to the beautiful oleanders that I used to poison your tea. Ripo and bye.
You ever seen the Airsoft Fatty documentary Full Force?
Yes. Yeah. Fucking love Airsoft Fatty. I pinched the butt and slipped the cigarette into my mouth to avoid leaving any traceable evidence before forcing my creaking bones out of the chair. Lifting corpses just leaves my joints exhausted afterward. My hips screamed in protest, reminding me that they couldn't work like the pistons they had back in the 70s. With effort, I stepped over her body and headed for the gate, wondering just how much she would rot in the southern sun before the neighbors complain about the smell. Monday mornings are really wearing on me more than they once did. I was staring at a topless man when the dead boy walked into my sun porch. And he wasn't just any topless man. He looked like Jason Momoa, that actor from the underwater movie. My guess is that God had given him a chest at the expense of a brain because he was walking around in a perpetual daze, clearly unaware that he was dead. He didn't seem to need any help, so I didn't intervene. I was happy just to watch. "Please, miss, I need your help." I looked over the edge of my iced tea and stared down at the boy. He was a sight. No more than 10 years old, but possessing the eyes of a war veteran. Ashen gray skin with livid purple bruises around his neck. I took a less than respectable gulp from the sweet tea. The topless man had flustered me, and I wanted to cool down enough to at least give the appearance of presentability to a child. I popped the cigarette back into my mouth. "If you're here to inquire about my professional services, young man, please understand that compensation needs to be arranged before any services are rendered." He looked at me with innocent confusion. He was a cute kid, honest to God, and cute kids annoy the bejesus out of me, especially dead ones. He clearly didn't understand me, so I went for more of a direct approach. "How you gonna pay me, kid?" I blew a waft of smoke that passed right through his dead face and swirled out the back of his skull. "I don't have any money," he said flatly. "I'm only a kid. And I think I'm dead." "Well, then we have no business to conduct," I quipped. I looked up in disappointment to find that the topless ghost had wandered off. I sighed. Sophocles leapt into my lap and started purring. I looked down to scratch behind his ear. When I noticed the boy still in my field of vision, I narrowed my eyes at him. "Please, miss, I hear that you can help people after they die." He called me miss instead of ma'am or someone's grandma. So he was starting to win me over. I hate it when people win me over. I sighed again. "Look, kid, you can't ask me to compromise my prices when you're compromising your morals. I'm running a respectable business here. If you want someone killed, you need to give me cash." "But," he looked confused, "I don't want anyone killed, miss. I just want my sister to be alive."
Aww.
I made no attempts to hide my eye roll. "I get this a lot, kid. Sorry, but I can't make anyone non-dead. No one can." I quashed my spent cigarette, lit another, and took a deep breath. "What has been done can never be undone."
What is dead may never die.
He shook his head. "No, that's not it. My sister's alive right now." He quivered and looked like he was about to cry. "But she might not be for much longer."
This kid literally is Theon.
Oh, fuck off. Ah, shit. I was really beginning to soften. "Kid, I'm not a doctor. I can't help the living any more than they can help themselves." He shook his head again in urgency. The purple bruises on his neck gave me the heebie-jeebies. "No doctor can save her because they don't know..." Oh, shit. This is him. "No doctor can save her because they don't know where she is. But even doctors won't be able to make her better if she's there much longer." I slowly lowered the cigarette and looked the kid up and down once more. A man took us while we were walking to school. He locked us in his basement.
Oh.
I tried to make Anna feel better because I'm 3 years older, but I was crying too. He wiped his eye, and I was determined not to show that I had the same need. I promised that I would find a way out of the basement for her, and I looked real hard. We weren't there but a day when the man came downstairs again and got awful mad. I tried to protect Anna, but then I realized it was me that he was after. I fought back as hard as I could, but he was super strong. He wiped his eye again. He strangled me, and it hurt real bad. More than I thought a body could hurt, and I realized that he was going to make Anna suffer the same way, and then it felt like I was floating. He stopped talking and struggled to compose himself. Anna couldn't see or hear me after that, no matter how much I tried to talk to her. Then I realized I could walk right through the door. He stepped closer and gave me these terrible doe-like eyes that made me want to smack him and then have a good cry. I saw where he keeps the keys. I'm the only one who knows where Anna is, and you're the only one who can help me. I'm sorry I don't have any money, but will you help us? I sighed. This is why I hate kids. It was pitch black outside as I helped Sophocles into the pet door of the kidnapper's house. How will your cat know to bring the keys back to you? The boy asked in wide-eyed wonder. I cackled quietly. You think Sophocles is just a cat? He responded with a shocked silence that lasted until the black feline shadow popped back out of the pet door, dropped the keys from his mouth into my hands, and purred loudly. Thank God we can get through this door, I muttered, looking up at the ivy-covered trellis. It's been many years since I've been confident in my prowess at negotiating second-floor windows. Though you'd be surprised what a body can do when motivated by the promises of a conjugal visit. What? The boy asked innocently. I said that you should always eat your vegetables. Now what makes you so sure that this man isn't at home right now? The boy fidgeted. I lied. He might be in there. I didn't think you'd come to rescue my sister if it were too dangerous. One of the worst things about dead people is that you can't smack them. Everyone knows someone who needs a good smack, and that need is only compounded by the fact that societal expectations preclude us from delivering a much-needed antidote to the slap-deprived. I sighed and rubbed my temples. Okay, I'm armed with a cigarette lighter and a cat against a violent criminal. It's a great plan, kid. He looked at me like he was gonna cry. Again. So that's how I found myself sneaking through the man's creepy house. It certainly looked like the lair of a child kidnapper. Every light was out, and of course I didn't risk turning any on. The kitchen was alive with the buzzing of unseen flies, which were no doubt feasting on whatever unholy concoction of decomposing foodstuffs was currently assaulting my nose. If the smell was any indication, the man was an aficionado of marinated toe jam, cat food, and aged cream. I crept through the darkened kitchen and ran into the silent living room. The raw emptiness of that space was somehow worse. The house felt devoid of humanity, as though no happy person had ever touched these walls. The fact that I was being guided by a ghost did not comfort me in any way, nor did the knowledge that the criminal who resided here might show up any second. Nevertheless, I clawed my way along the floor of this disgusting man's abode in search of a basement door. My hand found cool metal, and I smiled grimly. I flicked the cigarette lighter just long enough to fit the key into the door. It opened with a satisfying click. The rough-hewn steps told me that this basement was an amateur addition to the house, likely designed to keep prying eyes away from unsavory secrets. I blew out the lighter and descended into darkness. I could feel the temperature drop slightly with every step. I'd expect a full staircase of around 19 steps, but was off By about 13, I came to rest on a dirt floor that was far too close to the ceiling. Claustrophobia crept around the edges of my brain. "Keep going," came the voice of the ghost behind me. I moved forward, my head and neck brushing up against the ceiling. The air was thick and musty. "Stop." My breath hitched. "Can you find her and tell me if she's alive?" he whispered through tears. I didn't want to be in this creepy man's house. I didn't want to be in the basement of said house. And I really didn't want to wave my arms around in the dark to search for a corpse. A cigarette, though. That would hit the spot. I was just thinking about how nice that would be when I felt the girl's arm. The body temperature dropped as every hair on my neck rose. "Damn it, girl, wake up!" I spat in a raspy whisper. "Move, now, you hear?" I jumped as the body spoke. "We had found a flashlight on the floor before I died." My mind raced. I tried to remain discreet as possible, but light was going to be a necessity if I had to haul this little girl out of here. I reached around on the floor, found the flashlight, and clicked it on. I fell on my ass as the beam illuminated a face. The girl was staring, unblinking, right at me. I forgot to breathe. She didn't look good. I gasped, then controlled my breathing. "Hey, kid," I offered tentatively as I crept toward her. "Wake up. We'd best be leaving right now." My words reverberated oddly in the dilapidated basement. I touched her shoulder and shook it. The girl's skin yielded disgustingly to my touch, but her body was grotesquely stiff. The movement caused a brief, unnatural escape of gases through her open mouth.
Oh.
Her eyes were like glass. Mine were wet. No, kid," I whispered, moving closer while the flashlight's beam bounced erratically around the room. "Don't do this, please don't." "I found Anna," the boy said from behind me, causing me to jump. I turned around to see him standing at the top of the stairs. "She's like me now," he explained. "You were too late." I stopped hiding my tears. I'm sorry, kid." I heaved a shuddering gasp as I lit up another cigarette.
Yeah, like the 12th cigarette.
"Let me talk to her. Where is she?" The boy didn't move. He seemed very old. "You didn't save her," he explained simply. "Why?" I searched for words and found none. "Please," I gasped. "Let me speak with her." I looked wildly around for answers that I couldn't find. I briefly noticed the door to what looked like an underground bomb shelter, which was creepy enough in its own right, but I didn't have time to process what I was seeing. He didn't move. "You weren't there for her," he continued in a matter-of-fact way. "So she doesn't ever want to see you again." I sobbed. I'm sorry for everything, William." "Who's William?" he asked innocently. I wiped my eyes. "I didn't mean to say that. But please, tell your sister that I want to talk to her, to make things all right." He sighed, and then it was so much heavier than a child's sigh should ever be. "No, it won't. The man hurt her so much worse than he hurt me, and things will never be all right. Anna said she wanted to grow up and be a veterinarian to help all the sick animals, not get cold in the ground while the world slowly forgets she ever lived." Part of me broke then. I was surprised. By that time in my life, I had figured all the tiny pieces that were left of me had been too small for cracking, but I suppose the world isn't above grinding even the tiniest pieces into the finest of dust. I looked up again to see that he had climbed to the top of the stairs. He was barely visible in my flashlight. Then a tiny girl's arm reached from beyond the door and took his hand in hers. She pulled him away, and he disappeared. I remember that he was smiling. That's the sort of thing that stands out when you see someone for the very last time. A warm, fuzzy force suddenly pushed against me in the darkness. I reached out and scratched Sophocles behind the ears. I dried my eyes again. You're right. It's time to stand up, I sniffed. I got achingly to my feet and took a deep breath, because I'm not done here. Somewhere in this house is a man who deserves something far more sinister than poisonous oleander in his tea.
I'm thinking
Racking the shotgun.
I'm thinking these people are British.
Oh yeah, probably.
Tea.
If
a
I mean,
kid-
is there? Yeah, maybe. I feel like there's more dialogue. Like there's more things that people say in London and in Britain, in the UK, that things would be spelled differently or phrases, structure of phrases would be a little different. Until we see the evidence of them talking a certain way, I'm going to assume American.
Fair enough.
Because there is a kind of slang to the way she says things.
Yeah.
But you're not off base. I like the assumption, at least.
Yeah, that's true.
Tea. I think tea is just an old woman drink. I think that's just the idea.
Patricia Barnes.
Patricia Barnes.
It's not an American name.
Barnes is Barnes is American. Bucky Barnes. It's little Captain America's
Captain America.
little guy, little pal.
Yeah.
But I like reading that she has a cat because I got a cat.
What the hell do I even know?
Why am I here? What do I know?
I deserve to suffer. I deserve pain. I deserve suffering.
Very cool.
I deserve to be unhappy. I deserve to be unloved.
Oh my god.
I deserve to get shot.
I wouldn't go that far. Patricia Barnes.
I'm Patricia Barnes. Hitman for ghosts that only I can see. This is how I deal with people who piss me off.
Is that the title of this chapter? Yeah. This is how I deal with people who piss me off. Nice.
I love getting into trouble. I was covered in more tears and snot than I'd like to admit. Because even I feel sensitive when dead children get up and walk away. The cigarettes in my pocket were softly calling my name. So I pulled one out and flicked the lighter.
I think that's like the 12th cigarette in this story so far.
It's like the third pack she's on now.
Yeah.
It wouldn't catch. The dancing light was just enough to illuminate a vivid crimson sheet on my fingertips that extended its damp reach to my cancer stick.
Death sticks.
You want to go home and rethink your life?
I do.
Aww. Aww.
I saved you from falling and now you're mad at me.
Aww.
Yeah, she does do that. Feisty little bitch.
Cancer stick. I couldn't smoke because the cigarette was covered in children's blood. Now I was vengeful and irritable. That's when I decided to have a little meeting with the owner of this rancid house. Looking around the room, I got a feel for the shape of the path in front of me. Then I flicked out the light. I softly crept across the cool earth, then climbed the darkened steps back up into the house above. The trapdoor creaked over my head as I lifted it and emerged into the pungent room. Soft fur brushed against my shins. I smiled. Let's see if there are any garden shears in the backyard, Sophocles.
Oh shit.
I responded to the cat below me. We need to readjust a certain gentleman's interpretation of manhood. He's too lazy for garden tools, but you'll find an axe out by the shed, came the woman's voice from behind me. This is why I yearned for brown underwear in my first few years on the job.
I just shit my pants.
I slowly turned around to face the person standing behind me in the dark. Moonlight streamed through the window just well enough to light up her face, or more accurately, what was left of her face. The top left chunk of the woman's head was split wide open.
Damn.
White and gray tendrils dazzled in the moonlight as I looked deep into her shattered skull. One eyeball hung loosely from its optic nerve. It jiggled on her cheek as she spoke. I sighed. Looks like you've had a rough go-around, honey. But you wouldn't believe the day I've had. Any chance you know where I could find a smoke? She bore into me with her one good eye for several seconds as I grew more impatient. The only smoke he has on hand is a little bit of meth, if that's your style.
Hell yeah.
I scowled. Look, honey. Patricia Barnes turns into Han Solo. Look, honey, I'm really on edge right now. I'm sure the cops have found...
Listen here, princess.
I'm sure the cops have found the last one I killed by this point. Oh yeah, that's right. Patricia Barnes killed people. Sorry.
Yeah.
Look, honey, I'm really on edge right now. I'm sure the cops have found the last woman I killed by this point. I just failed a dead girl. There has been an appalling lack of naked man ghosts as of late, and my cigarettes have been destroyed by all the blood. Are you going to tell me more about this axe, or should I just burn the fucking house down?
Patricia's spunky.
Yeah, she's British.
Yeah, spunk is British for jizz.
Eat your vegetables, kid.
Hell yeah.
I really, really didn't want to go deeper into the house, but I learned long ago that you have to embrace swarms of flies when you're dealing with shit. Are you sure you want to wake him? The ghost woman asked nervously as she stood by the door. He's going to react poorly. I grabbed the knob. Listen, Mindy, I've gone 20 minutes without a smoke, and this waste of skin is the reason.
It's been maybe 5.
Yeah. She's an addict. She's fucking British addict. I threw open the door. I'm going to react poorly. The smell of body odor and semen attacked my nose with such aggression that I had to fight against my gag reflex. Through the tears in my eyes, I could see the form of a man lying on a stained mattress. Sophocles, shush.
What's your problem with this hand that isn't with this hand? What did this hand do that you don't mind this one?
Sophocles. Sophocles.
You're being a cheeky little bitch.
Fucking Brits. No offense meant to British people. I have family.
A full offense meant to British people.
Apologies. You know what? Fuck Keir Starmer. You know what? Sorry.
You know what? Jog on.
Yeah! What else do they say? They say, get in! Get in!
Get in!
Get in! Okay.
Okay.
The smell of body odor and semen attacked my nose with such aggression that I had to fight against my gag reflex. Through the tears in my eyes, I could see the form of a man lying on a stained mattress, set haphazardly in the middle of a disheveled room. The greasy strands of thinning gray hair covered an unshaved face. He farted.
He farted.
My name isn't Mindy, the ghost whispered. I dated him for 19 years since I was 13, and he shot me in the face.
Jesus Christ.
Please be careful. I strode quickly across the nasty room and kicked him in the head. He awoke with a snort. Who the fuck are you? He shouted in hazy bewilderment. I'm a lady with standards, which will understandably cause you confusion. You can call me ma'am. Decorum says that you should put on pants in my presence, but the visual evidence makes it clear that you have nothing worth covering. Now stand up, young man. Instead, he reached into a pile of soiled underwear that was festering by his head and pulled out an extraordinarily large pistol. He pointed it at my face and smiled. I stared at the length of the gun's barrel. Makes sense, I offered coolly. He didn't get it. I don't know what you're doing in my bedroom because I don't fuck old meat. He slurred
Oh, shit.
as he slurred.
Old meat.
Yeah, this guy needs to get shot in the
I'm gonna
head.
call my mom old meat.
Oh my God. He slurred as he got to his wobbly feet. The man kept the gun aimed at my head, so I didn't move. I'm here to deliver a message from Mindy.
It's not her name.
He stepped closer to me.
Now, where's the meth?
My name is Starla, she interjected.
Yeah.
I closed my eyes and sighed. Of course it was Starla. I mean Starla. I'm here to talk to you about the girlfriend you murdered. Blinding white, angry pain erupted across my head, and I was swirling until I hit the floor. Copper and anguish filled my mouth. I grabbed my face and felt my teeth. Good. None had been knocked loose in his pistol whip.
Damn.
I spat blood on the floor. Then I stood and faced him. His eyes rolled in wild confusion. You've never seen a woman stand up after hitting her, have you? I asked as I wiped my sleeve against my lip to clean the blood. I panted. Fuck, my face hurt. Get up to speed quick, because we have to talk about how Starla told me that you buried her beneath the house. You thought that no one would find out, but I can see more than you'll ever imagine. My world spun with residual dizziness, and I adjusted my footing for balance. How? What? He asked with all the elegance of a gorilla scratching its ass. He used to tell me I was the only one who made him feel less ashamed, the woman whispered from the corner. I could tell that she was crying. I'll need something more specific, I explained as I spat more blood on the floor. Something only you would know. The look on his face told me that he didn't understand why I was talking to someone he couldn't see, which only increased his anger. She sniffed. He would ask me to tie his nuts up with string before he banged me.
Nice.
You mean like that? For fuck's sake.
God damn it.
Couldn't he have remembered her favorite flower? No. No, of course not. I cleared my throat. I can see ghosts, jackass. Your dead girlfriend is telling me that your lil pecker only got up when she tied your testicles up with a bow. Is that right, champ? His eyes grew wide. How the fuck do you fucking know that shit, you witch? He tattered on pasty legs. Yes, we'll go with that. I'm a witch, and I'm here to tell you a secret. He stared at me with fear because he was unable to process respect. The fish was on the line. Starla knows that you're the best thing that ever happened to her, I explained softly. No, I didn't, she interrupted. I hated him. He masturbated the Scooby-Doo. I was just too afraid to leave.
Nice.
She wants you to feel safe. She wants you to be safe, I continued in a nurturing tone. Everyone's in danger. We're about to be attacked by foreigners, but you can be spared if you're with her.
Hell yeah.
His eyes grew wide. The fish was reeling in. She's buried in the basement, but Starla knows you love her. You have a bomb shelter down there, don't you? Underneath the house, far away from everything bad. You can be safe. His eyes danced. We're being attacked? When? I narrowed my gaze at him. Right now. He pushed me aside and ran out of the room. Fish, meat, barrel.
I sure hope so. That's a fun way to go. Just lock him in his own fucking basement.
The axe weighed heavily in my hands as I descended. The axe?
Oh, okay,
When
never
did
mind.
she get an axe?
Yeah, must have gone to get it.
The axe weighed heavily in my hands as I descended the staircase into the primitive basement for the second time that night. The smell of decaying flesh was clearer this time, but that only furthered my resolve. I flicked on the lighter just long enough to find the flashlight, but I couldn't ignore the dead girl on the mattress as I bent down. Repos en paix.
Yeah, that's the one I said. Repos en paix.
Repos en paix, I whispered delicately. I'm so sorry. I turned on the flashlight and swiveled it around the room. It shined through the dead woman standing next to me and lit up the structure behind her. Deep tracks were carved in the fresh dirt below the heavy door of the bomb shelter, revealing that it had been forced open shortly before I had climbed into the basement. It was currently closed, and the room was empty aside from me, the ghost, and Sophocles. The fish was in the frying pan, and I had one hell of an appetite. I walked resolutely to the door and rested my hand on the wheel that had to be spun to open it. It was locked tight. I smiled. Then I raised the axe high above my head, turned it around so that the sharp end was facing behind me, and swung. The first crash had little effect. The second one dented the wheel. But the 200th swing knocked the damn thing clean off and into the dirt. I collapsed to the ground and leaned against the door, panting for air.
Yeah, lock him down there.
You're sure, I gasped, that he has no way of communicating with the outside world and no way of opening the door now that the handle is broken? Mindy, or Starla, or whoever she was, nodded slowly. He used to lock me in there for days at a time, she said shakily. No one on the outside can hear the screams. She sighed deeply.
Damn.
Trust me, the man's easy to predict. I told you that he wouldn't react to the pounding because he believed you were trying to get access to the safety of the shelter. She wiped her good eye. The other one swung on its nerve. He showed me every detail of the door's handle to prove how easily it could seal me in permanently. There's no way he's getting out. Good. I heaved. Now, how much water does he have? I'd like to know if he'll die of asphyxiation or thirst. I coughed, then shook my head. You know what? Never mind. I like a little mystery in my life, and both endings are happy. I got to my feet and faced the door. Make peace with whatever god or devil awaits your heart, I offered to him. And then I turned around
Got a little catchphrase, you know?
Yeah. Then I turned around and pointed the flashlight at the ghost. But you like a little mystery too, don't you, Mindy? I asked as I pulled out a cigarette and lit it.
Starla.
Fuck. There's the rush of nicotine I needed. My toes dazzled like I had finally orgasmed after 3 days. After 3 dry days. Now I was ready to face what comes next. Or what came next. You told me that he had no cigarettes. Yet I swiped a box right off the rancid floor. I normally demand a higher standard in my smokes, but you know what they say about ports and storms. I blew a delightful stream of smoke into the flashlight's weak beam. So, what else are you hiding from me? She blanched, which was such an odd thing to see in a person who was missing so much of her face. I didn't. Nothing at all. I shook my head. Mindy. This is not my first rodeo, honey. I clenched the cigarette between my teeth. You've been playing the victimized girlfriend this whole time, which is a vicious half-truth. She swallowed and took a step back. I'm not going to lie. It's thrilling when ghosts are afraid of me. I'm sure our disgusting friend in the bomb shelter treated you like shit, but it's hard to sympathize when I think of how many children the two of you must have killed together.
Damn.
I bore my eyes into her, looking for any hint that my suspicions were wrong. I found none. She was a terrible poker player. Now listen to me, you bitch. You're going to tell me who actually killed you, who you're working for, and why they're coming after me.
Nice.
Whoa.
Nice.
Patty B.
Trisha B. What are all the names that you could Patty,
Call her stiff upper lip.
Trisha, yeah. Call her a good pack of smokes.
Call her the chain.
The long arm of the law. You could call it the Vindicator.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Hell yeah. Yeah, you could call her all those things now that I think about it.
London Fog.
Definitely that one. Definitely. Because she's British. How do you feel about it, though? How do you feel about Patty B? For a protagonist, I mean.
It's a great protagonist.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Just sick of her shit.
It definitely
past her good years.
It's definitely a very distinct character.
It is. Yeah. No, it's a fun one, too, because it's the type of character that
Why is it?
We don't have all the answers yet. It's basically Constantine.
Constantine mixed with the woman from Insidious.
Oh, the older... Yeah, what's her name? Gail or something? Yeah.
Gail had a definite, like...
I think that's her name. I need to find out.
She had a tone to her in that movie. So weird. Bringing up Insidious right leading into this story. Hamlet.
Well,
talking about revenge.
Ghosts and shit, yeah.
That's interesting. Huh. Who would bear the whips and scorns of time? The oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of despised love, the law's delay, the insolence of office.
Elise Rainier.
Oh, Elise.
Elise Rainier, and I know the actress passed away. What was the actress's name?
It is like a combination of Elise and Constantine.
Yeah. Agreed. I mean, I think the reason I go to Constantine is because of the familiar that's following her around and the clear dedication to smoking cigarettes.
Yep.
And the kind of justification to get to ends meet.
Yeah.
Of whatever day or task they're dealing with. I think it's an interesting kind of hard-boiled female cop kind of tone to it. She's very rough around the edges, very rough and tumble, going under the guise of probably frail, older, middle-aged woman. Probably.
Do you think she's like... I don't know if we got a description of what kind of build she looks like.
Big enough to carry someone, not big enough to do it well.
And to heave an axe 200 times, I guess. 200 is
no telling how long that took, though.
Yeah.
I'm trying to put an actress to the name, and for the life of me, I can't think of any that are in their, 50s going on 60s that would do this well. Because I always feel like I fall... when I want hard-ass female protagonist, I fall back on Jamie Lee Curtis. Every single time. I'm re-listening to You and I Do Left-Right Game. It's who I go to for Blue Jay. She's the hard-ass female. It's just where my mind goes when it comes to older actresses. But she's older. She's even older.
Yeah.
It's tough to say where I'd go with this one.
Maybe... David Harbour if he cross-dressed.
Yes! You know what? That would be perfect.
Yeah, Hopper.
Hopper from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Hopper, yeah. No, Hopper would be diabolical. Hopper... Oh, man. Him pretending to be...
Listen, you bitch.
Yeah. Have you ever seen his audition for 11?
No.
Yeah, I think it's an SNL skit where it's him wearing her costume and he's reading all of her lines in complete straight face, just Papa bad, nosebleed, yeah, Papa said you're a bad man. No, it's good. I'm gonna stick with Jamie Lee Curtis until I can think of a better one in my head. Maybe I'm floating around that actress who plays Carol in Walking Dead.
Oh yeah.
Melissa McBride.
I don't know her name, but not McCarthy. That's the Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters. It's
star.
So it's McBride. It's Melissa McBride then. But I'm floating around that kind of archetype, old enough to have tea but still kick your ass.
Yeah.
If she really wanted to.
Oh, what about I don't know. I'll think about it because we
got time to think about it.
Yeah.
But where do you feel? How do you feel about the narrative and where it's gone so far?
It's pretty interesting right now. With it developing into a larger plot. I thought it was going to be episodic when we went from part 1 to 2, but it's continued right off of part 1.
There is a narrative thread. Yeah. We're going deeper and deeper down into the rabbit hole. She seemed to like being called a witch by that dude in the last chapter, which I don't think is the case. I think there's something more to the story, but I don't think that that's the case. Do you think she made some kind of agreement?
Well, she definitely likes to kill people, I think.
what do you think Sophocles is? I said familiar earlier, but do you think it's like a representation of some
Probably like some
Egyptian god of death?
some hell creature that
okay.
that favors her.
Yeah.
It's maybe it is like a demon that wants to maybe
Just be around.
a lesser demon.
Lead her to these things.
Yeah.
Let death surround her and enjoy in its purview.
Yep.
I'm okay with that. I like it. I like where it's going. I like the sense of humor. We don't always get a story with a good sense of humor, but when it hits, I feel like it hits.
It is pretty
and
funny.
this one is very, I'm too old for this shit, and I can appreciate that. I also appreciate how often a cigarette is lit.
And I'm glad that we couldn't really tell who the character was in the beginning, and we just kind of stuck with our character.
I mean, it shows that they were going more for a tone than they were trying to be like gender specific or even description specific.
Yeah.
But no, like in its heart of hearts, I hear the delivery of the lines just being like, oh well, shit, kid. That's just the way the cookie crumbles.
Chain smoking.
Aggressive cigarette.
We are pleased to inform you.
It's terrible.
I also like the what is it, the chocolate lady from SpongeBob?
Oh yeah.
That's the last time I had chocolate. I hated it. Yeah, it's a classic. A classic. I would hate to read the entire story that way, though.
I think I should start Nick.